we see mourners taking turns around the ambulance to pay their last respects. The former President Muhammadu Buhari retired as a Major General, and today we have seen a show of honor coming from military personnel of that rank and above in the Army and in the associated ranks in the Navy and the Air Force, honoring his legacy. And it's good to note that while he became head of state, he did not promote himself, going on to retire as a Major General. Any moments now, the body of former President Muhammadu Buhari will be interred at his former resting place. Live pictures there of Vice President Kashim Shettima and other persons were gathered to mourn the passing of the former president. That's a former minister, Olorunimbe Mamora. It's a very solemn moment. You see mourners being consoled. We also see military personnel taking the charge to ensure that events go seamlessly.
The solemn moment, also like you said, you see people trying to take turns looking into the ambulance, people who expect family and friends trying to pay their last respect to one person that they have respected and honored up to their life.
So one can say that in death, just as in life, Muhammadu Buhari enjoyed
12
the
million
love.
votes.
12 million votes. if it were possible,
I never saw it
perhaps
that way.
the 12 million would even be gathered here.
A lot of people will not get as close as 500 meters to the compound, considering the crowd and the volume of traffic, vehicles that are here. A lot of people may never get as close as 500 meters to the compound, but as far as they are concerned, they will leave satisfied that they were part of this month. A president will live to talk about forever, so that's what the moment signifies for plenty, a lot of the people. You can imagine where, look at the people that we see inside the premises. Most of the former governors, most of the former ministers, you can't find them because the space is limited. And then imagine all the people, all the political supporters of the president, the former AMPP supporters, the former CPC supporters, and even the APC people that are in APC because of him. You imagine where they are all gathered. So the stretch is even beyond what we can see. So that's what it means to be a popular person amongst the people.
It's quite popular. It seems a lot of persons they just want to pay their last respect, irrespective of the distance. You see some waving at the convoy, if that's how close they can get.
Indeed. And it's a state funeral. So this is a mark of honor from Nigeria as a nation. President Bola Tinubu has made it a point of duty. He made it a point of duty to personally receive the body and to lead the nation in this day of mourning. It's a 7th day of mourning that has been declared from Sunday, where the death was announced of the former president. That would run from Sunday through Saturday. And we know that all national flags are to fly at half-mast. And as a matter of fact, today has been declared a public holiday. Perhaps also that contributed towards having these many people out there who have the opportunity to step out and pay their final respects.
These pictures on the screen quite indicate that former President Muhammadu Buhari was revered, not just as a former president or an indigene of that community, but as someone who had values that he stood for and was quite consistent during his time as head of state, and also, coming back as a democratically elected leader. One thing that we see that was constant through his, leadership or administration was that it was quite unshaken about the things that he stood for, things like anti-corruption, ensuring that there were no things like indiscipline. And so, quite a solemn moment in Daura today. It's been a while since we've seen a large crowd of mourners, gather to bid someone farewell. A large crowd as much as it is, especially a community like Daura that wasn't there exactly, as prominent before this time.
Some of the things that Ayol said when he came up, the man who covered President Buhari's election in 2015, and likely 2019 also, part of the things he said was, highlighted the fact that this was a man who was down to earth. He was already the presidential candidate of his party, number one. He was a retired major general in the army. He was a former head of state, military head of state. But Ayo said that when they got to his compound before that election period, they just saw just about two soldiers in the house of a local government chairman who have up to 10 men guarding him. A local government chairman. I don't want to talk about governors and the rest, but in his case, it was a different scenario entirely, still highlighting his humility and feeling comfortable amongst his people, because he's only someone who is worried and scared that would be covering and shielding himself from his people.
Our Lupe Asom, our reporter who is standing by at the Daura residence, he's actually in the Daura residence of former President Muhammadu Buhari. Lupe, talk to us about what is happening there. So we can't establish contact with Lupe at the moment, but we'll get back to him for live reports and coverage from the residence where the former president would actually be interred.
Okay,
Yes.
you can imagine what will be going on in there. So if you cannot establish contact, it's understandable, because there will be lots of pushing and shoving.
All right, Susan, I understand we should just try to see if we can get that connection. Now, Lupe, if you can hear me, I'm asking about what is going on there within other residents. And there's also the possibility of network being jammed because of the dignitaries
that are there now.
that are there now. Okay, Lupe, it does appear you're muted. If you could unmute your device and tell us what is happening there as we await the interment of the former president. All right, it must be a very busy scene in there.
Very busy. You can just imagine it. Security operatives will have their hands full, putting everybody in check, where not to cross, where to stand, where not to stand, and all of that. That may even contribute to slight delays here and there, because until things are properly put in place, there may not be space to even move the body, to where the actual, so it may cause a bit of delay, and we understand all of that, and we know that the quality of personnel we have will have ported everything, and then continue to manage it as it occurs and, expands. So we are still monitoring that. And if you see the live pictures we have on the screen there, some vehicles have been on one spot for minutes.
Yes.
they've been on one spot for minutes, which suggests, and we cannot see the end of that stretch of vehicles. Okay, they're just making slow movement now. We cannot see the end of that stretch of vehicles, which would only confirm that this is a jammed town. Everyone appeared to be there. People are from different corners, different parts of the country, and even beyond. We know that. Okay, so over to you, Apostle, please.
All right, so let's now go to Abuja, where Ayodele Zubakwan and Femi Akonde are standing by. We can see, I'm sure that you can also see the pictures from there. Of course, the body is already in Daura. Yes. Any moment now, the body will be interred. Talk to us about what you make of what is happening and what you can see. Ayo.
To talk about the man, the late Muhammadu Buhari himself, tell you, this is just the main express road that leads to his house. This is not just this particular picture you're seeing is the overflow. But I can tell you that I've been to some governor's house, I've been to some senator's house. They can accommodate as much as, they have like a whole street.
Had several children.
still in mourning. We can say mourning, yes, but also talking about, what he stood for as a son of the soil. If you will take it from there, Ayo.
Yes, but Ambassador, the town that at least for the next 1 week, the kind of security that is going to be deployed, and don't forget that before now, Castina that state has been having its fair share of banditry, but I can tell you now, nobody there goes close to anywhere near Castina City or Dara right now. The level of security that will be deployed, the strength of the Federal Republic of Nigeria would have been deployed in Katsina State right now. So I don't think anybody will ever think of fomenting problem. The only problem I see, Dara, the number of hotels, a lot of people might not be able to sleep still pass the night in Dara today, and they will have to go back to Katsina City because Dara is just a very fast developing, will I call it city, semi-city, suburban city. So it's something that because of the advent of Muhammadu Buhari as the president now has brought a lot of glory, has brought a lot of attraction to Dara, and the people today, I'm sure that they are going to know that, look, it's going to take how many years again for them to have a man like.
The life and times of former President Muhammadu Buhari, 1942 to 2025. Nigeria mourns the passing of a statesman whose life spanned decades of national service, from military leadership to democratic governance. Former President Muhammadu Buhari, GCFR, who died on Sunday, July 13, 2025, in a London clinic at the age of 82 after a protracted illness, leaves behind a legacy etched in the annals of Nigerian history. Born on December 17, 1942 in Daura for petroleum resources in 1976 under the Murtala Obasanjo regime. He also chaired the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, NNPC, during this period. On December 31, 1983, Buhari seized power in a military coup that ousted the civilian government of President Shehu Shagari. His regime, though short-lived, was marked by a firm stance against corruption and indiscipline. Through the now famous War Against Indiscipline, Y, he sought to instill order in public life and curb corruption. The regime also attracted criticism for human rights abuses, censorship, and its rigid economic policies. Buhari's tenure as head of state ended abruptly in August 27, 1985, when he was overthrown by the then Chief of Army Staff, General Ibrahim Babangida. Following his ouster, Buhari remained largely silent in public affairs for several years. He resurfaced during the Abacha regime as chairman of the Petroleum Trust Fund, PTF, where he oversaw massive infrastructural projects funded by proceeds from oil savings. By the late 1990s and early 2000s, Buhari began to redefine himself as a Democrat. He contested for the presidency in 2003, 2007, and 2011, losing each time. Despite the defeats, he maintained a loyal political following, particularly in northern Nigeria. In 2015, at the age of 72, Buhari made history by becoming the first opposition candidate in Nigeria to defeat a sitting president. Backed by a coalition of parties under the All Progressives Congress, APC, he defeated incumbent President Goodluck Jonathan in an election widely praised for its relative transparency. As president, Buhari campaigned on three core promises: fighting corruption, improving security, and reviving the economy. His administration scored notable gains in degrading Boko Haram insurgents in the Northeast, recovering looted assets and implementing social investment programs like Empower and the School Feeding Initiative. However, his presidency was not without controversy. Buhari faced criticisms over rising insecurity in other parts of the country, perceived nepotism in appointments, a sluggish economy, and increasing national debts. His prolonged medical trips abroad also stirred public concern about his health and capacity. Re-elected in 2019, Buhari completed his second term in 2023 and peacefully handed over power to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, his political ally and former Lagos State governor. President Buhari was a devout Muslim known for his austere personal lifestyle and deep religious conviction. He was married to Aisha Buhari, with whom he had several children. He also maintained a quiet personal profile, often retreating to his hometown in Daura. To his supporters, Buhari symbolized discipline, honesty, and patriotic commitment to national rebirth. To critics, he represented authoritarian tendencies and unfulfilled promises. Regardless, few can dispute the imprint he left on Nigeria's political and governance landscape. As the nation mourns, tributes are pouring in from across Nigeria and around the world, reflecting on the life of a man who, for better or worse, The life and times of former President Muhammadu Buhari, 1942 to 20.
hearing sounds of the ambulance, which is making its way into the house of the former President Muhammadu Buhari. The service chiefs are on parade. Other senior military officers as well are also on parade. So at this moment, we are waiting for the ambulance to make its way into the house. We can see governors arrive, Babagana Zulum of Borno State. We can see senators also arrive who are just coming back from the helipad where they went to pray for the repose of the soul of the president according to Islamic rites. So these are live pictures. A couple of them are now making their way into the garden designated to the garden where his body will be committed to the earth. Sympathizers are trooping in to his house, hoping to catch a glimpse of what will be the last for them, of maybe the body of the former president. The press have been restricted to this area to ensure there is law and order. The ambulance is now making its way into the house of the former president. We believe that President Bola Tinubu will be leading the delegation of
T25. Nigeria more
we can also see the Speaker of the Federal House of Representatives, Tajuddin Abbas, who is also trying to catch a glimpse of what is happening here. Security is very tight, and the military personnel are right here to ensure that there is no breakdown of law and order. We can see the former Vice President, Yemi Oshibanjo, making his way into that arena. Military personnel have been asked to trying to ensure that the space is cleared. moment, we can confirm to our viewers that the president you can hear the announcement that only His Excellency the President, the graveyard where the president, the former president, Muhammad Buhari, will be interred.
Former President Muhammadu Buhari, who died on Sunday at the age of 82.